Welcome and thank you everyone for joining us for this concise and informative discussion by Dr. Michael Walt.
That's me.
Dr. Walt, you have many degrees and certifications in the areas of nutrition and health, including 2 board certifications in nutrition.
That's right.
You are a doctor of chiropractic with a master's in nutrition, and you are a certified nutritional specialist. You have published successful books on natural health, and right now we will be discussing multiple sclerosis. David is asking about his progressive multiple sclerosis. I've been dealing with MS for several years now, and I'm getting worse. I have difficulty walking, I'm tired all the time, and memory is a big problem. I've been taking MS medications my neurologist recommended, but what else can I do, Doc?
Well, I'm glad that question came up because multiple sclerosis is way too prevalent, and the prevalence or occurrence of MS in society grows and grows and grows. There may be some genetic predisposition. I think about 5 to 7% of MS, there's a stronger family history. There may be some exposure from the environment of heavy metals, for example, that destroy the myelin in the nervous system, which is what characterizes all forms of MS. We have to show some myelin destruction, or at least it needs to be implied. So again, myelin is that part of the nervous system which covers and protects the neurons, which are the nerve cells in the brain. And when that breaks down, what happens is, if this pen, for example, is a neuron and it's covered in this myelin blanket, and then you have another nerve here and another nerve here, and you have a little space in between each nerve. With multiple sclerosis, maybe due to toxins, as I mentioned, maybe viruses, certain bacteria can denature or break down the myelin, other inflammatory triggers. The list is pretty long. Even electromagnetic and other forms of radiation may trigger it. As I mentioned too, there is genetic predispositions in some people, but the myelin cover breaks down and it won't allow the nervous system nerve energy to propagate or move along the nerves. So if we have a problem, let's say here in the brain, and that part is actually the lower leg, which it literally is, if there's a plaque there, the person's going to have a problem with their lower leg on the opposite side of the body. So this is how neurologists and, let's say, doctors of chiropractic, for example, can easily figure out the location of the degenerative myelin plaques. Now, those myelin plaques are examples of degeneration, as I mentioned. And another way of saying that is they're areas of oxidative stress. The neurologic journals even say that oxidative stress is what's happening at those plaques. What does that mean nutritionally? What can we do with this beyond MS medication? Well, we've all heard of antioxidants, and we know that the plaques are caused by oxidative stress. So if we give the right antioxidants, you can either bring back some of that myelin, in some cases that does happen, or you can mitigate or lessen the symptoms for the individual and or even slow down the disease. As far as the specific nutrients, Sonny, there are so many different nutritional considerations. I'll just mention a few of them here, and of course this is just for educational purposes. It's not medical advice. I don't know you necessarily who are listening, but there's something called N-acetylcysteine, which has been studied in MS to help protect and rebuild the myelin. The nervous system is mostly made of omega-3 fatty acids, so obviously fish oil is important. When you eat fish oil, it becomes incorporated into the nervous system. It's a natural antioxidant, fish oil. Flax oil, I would not recommend because it has some omega-6s in it, which are pro-inflammatory. And we also have to consider the types of any of these supplements. So for example, Sonny, the omega-3 fatty acids, those are commonly mercury contaminated. So I don't use forms that have mercury in them. And if you say, well, I don't want to take pills, Dr. Walt, I want to maybe eat salmon and other fish products that are high in omega-3s, well, they contain mercury as well. That's why if you're a pregnant woman, you're a child, or an older person, you shouldn't be eating fish more than twice a week. For everyone else, though, there's no guidelines, you see. So these are some of the issues. So to give you a concise summary here, we know MS is an autoimmune disease. It may be genetic. It may certainly be triggered by any number of factors ranging from heavy metals to viruses to bacteria. Sadly, in my experience, many neurologists do not consider these causes at all. It also could be caused by various nutritional deficiencies or insufficiencies. So for example, if you lack vitamin B1, which you need for peripheral nerve health, and peripheral nerves are the nerves that come off the spinal cord, which are directed in terms of what they do by your central nervous system, which is your brain and spinal cord. And again, those nerves come off, they go to the periphery. Okay. So depending on what the laboratory shows, I would do specific nutritional interpretations, which we'll talk about in the blood detective video, and how to really narrow that down. But we don't want to treat everyone with MS the same, because they're not the same.
They're not.
And if a person with MS is going to take their medications, we want to make sure that the nutrition is balanced and supportive of that medication and doesn't interfere in any negative way, which is actually very rare. So that's essentially it. So there's plenty to do. And of course, I haven't mentioned the diet, but I'll just briefly say that gluten can cause myelin degeneration, and any other dietary imbalances or deficiencies would not allow the nervous system to repair in the face of the autoimmune insults, which are triggered by any number of things.
Okay, Dr. Walt, thank you for this great information.
You're welcome.